Hello, Sanford. You are listening to Sanford Sports Radio. I am your host, Jonathan West, and welcome to another edition of The Howler, as your Sanford College Coyotes are riding high. They are riding a hell of a win streak right now, and they have a tough matchup this week against Ohio. They're finally back at home, though, so that's the big plus. They're back at home, taking on Ohio after a big win against rival NIU in a very tight situation. On the part of recruiting, there's not a lot to talk about. We do have a couple of things we need to discuss, but things haven't really been on the move much. Eric Peters looks like he's found that Sanford isn't as good as he once thought, at least to him. So, from the sounds of things with Peters, it sounds like he may not be coming to Sanford whatsoever. But for wide receiver Josh Williams, the number 13 receiver in the nation, he's found some interest in Sanford, which is very nice to hear. So, Williams may start looking the way of the Coyotes. We'll see how that goes. Samson Stratton, other schools have been really trying to contact him late here in the season, but still, Sanford seems to be leading the race for Stratton. We'll keep an eye on that one as that goes on. Marvin Clark has decided to, from everything I've heard, put Sanford at the top of his board for now. So that's a very good situation there. And the number one quarterback in the nation, John Scott, well, now his eyes are turned towards Sanford. He's not extremely focused, but he is taking notice. Jeremy Williams, the other athlete, this one from Eager, Arizona, he's looking the way of the Coyotes as well here a bit. Not entirely from all I'm being told. He still has hopes out for a scholarship from Oklahoma, but he has become rather interested in Sanford. Pat Lewis still hoping for that Oklahoma spot. I haven't heard anything other than that, so that's kind of been on the back burner for him. Nothing really moving in the way of Pat Lewis. Now for Antonio Perkins, it seems that it's going to be tough for Sanford to beat out Oregon State. It seems that he is a big proprietor of being on the West Coast, and it looks like that's how it's going to stay, at least for the time being. Perkins will be visiting today, but I do not think that's going to be a big change in anything at this point. I don't think it's really going to do anything at all. Perkins, though, will be visiting this week during the Ohio game, so if I see him, I'll welcome him and all that fun stuff, but I don't see his attitude changing that much towards Sanford right now. Albert Lynch, the middle linebacker from Florida, right now it's an interesting situation. Sanford is in the running, but they're low on the board from what I've been told. It sounds like Iowa's kind of the dream school right now for him, and it seems like Iowa might share a little bit of that feeling. We'll see how that race goes on as the season progresses. And finally, Wayne Nobles, the young tackle out of Hawaii. Yeah, he's starting to take some interest in Sanford after, of course, last week Sanford gave him the call to tell him they were interested, and it looks like they have a good chance to maybe jump up his board extremely quickly. Now, in the way of getting recruits, Joe Baker, the young running back from Chicago, Illinois, has committed to Sanford. So, folks, we finally might have that speed back that we have been looking for. Coach Wolf has stated he wants that scat style back because they don't really have it right now. Baker could be that. Now, I'm not saying Baker's going to start initially because I don't know how Coach Wolf and Coach Martin see Baker, if he's a starter early or if he needs time to develop. As we go to the MAC Players of the Week this week, we're going to be seeing one of them this weekend, and that's Tayshawn Trotter, the defensive tackle for Ohio. He had a big game against Miami of Ohio, where sadly the Bobcats lost. But a huge game nonetheless for Trotter. And John Mason, the freshman out of Eastern Michigan, had a big day, 5 total touchdowns against Toledo when they got a big W. So keep your eyes on Trotter, it seems, as we'll be seeing him later this week, I'm sure. Now, speaking of Miami of Ohio, they are still on top of the MAC East, Sanford right behind them. It's going to be a race down to the wire again. We all remember last season there was a lot of speculation, a lot of thought process that Sanford would not come out on top of the MAC East. A lot of thought that Sanford didn't have a shot. Well, we wound up being in the MAC championship, sadly falling to NIU. But this is feeling sort of like last year. It's going to come down to the wire, and it's going to take 1 or 2 games for this team to take that spot. We'll see what happens. I'm as clueless as everybody else is right now on how this game's going to go, but we'll see as the season progresses, as this week's MAC schedule goes as follows. Of course, Ohio at Sanford. Eastern Michigan's going to head to Bowling Green for a game as Kent State faces Miami of Ohio. Kent State has upset some guys. Let's hope they upset Miami of Ohio. Western Michigan at Western Kentucky. Ball State at NIU. Central Michigan's got Toledo in their house, where the Rockets have reigned pretty supreme for the most part this season. And Akron heads to Buffalo. So it's a very interesting schedule to follow this week as we talk now about the only game that matters for the Sanford faithful, and that is Ohio versus Sanford. Once again, Sanford favored to win this game. Now, when it comes to this matchup, I wouldn't get too confident, because we know what this team is capable of. We know what Sanford can do and what they can do well and what they can do wrong. Every week it seems like I'm a broken record and I say the same thing, and it's because it's the one thing that matters. Tanner Patrick can't make a lot of mistakes. If he makes a lot of mistakes, the defense has to bail him out. I don't know if they can do this. We saw them play extremely well early on in the season. Even in losses, the defense looked very sharp. We're starting to see some of those weaknesses come out here in MAC conference play. So this defense may not be as powerful as we really thought they were. So this is going to come down to the offense. The offense has to play smart. And if they don't, it's simply just going to turn into another loss on this team's record. Now, another key to this ballgame is definitely going to be if they can get the balance going. If they can get a nice balance of run to pass situation going and really be able to fool the Ohio defense. Because we'll talk about it here in just a bit. Ohio's got some tough players. And we got to keep that in mind as we will start here with the running back tandem. Malik Irons is the first back we'll talk about. He's had a solid season so far, but he is not the starting back. Keep that in mind, folks. He is a punt returner as well as the backup halfback on this team. He's a quick-footed guy. He can really get you when you're not looking, and this team's got to be very weary of when Irons in the ballgame because we don't have the fastest guys on the field. We know this. Sanford has been very, very adamant about the fact that these are still young players, that they're still learning and still developing. Well, they don't have a ton of really quick-footed guys out there. They got to get quick-footed guys to get Malik Irons. He's also broken a ton of tackles this season, so you got to make sure you bring him down. But of course, the man we will be keeping our eye on for the most part in this game is Pappy White. Yes, indeed. You remember that name. I'm sure you do. Pappy White, the running back, is going to be the guy that's going to mess with this team. He's had a solid season as well. And he's another speed back. He's small framed. He can run around the edge quick. If he beats you, you're not going to catch him. It's that simple. And that's what this team has to be worried about. They have to set the edge. They got to make sure White doesn't get past them. And they have to be ready to bring him down immediately. This is going to be a lot tougher, I think, of a game that a lot of people are looking at it on paper. And I'm not saying that for the fact that we had a tough time last week against NIU. That's always a tough game. But it just screams to me that this game could kind of be overshadowed a bit. Now let's talk about the leading receiver for these Bobcats. That's Elijah Ball, the wide receiver who's already brought down 4 touchdowns and over 500 yards. And this Ohio team, not desperately known for being a high-octane passing attack. We're going to see a lot of Poppy White. I can guarantee you of that. So, the fact that Elijah Ball's already brought in over 500 yards, that's an impressive stat line. The kid's a good receiver, and Richard Cruz is going to have to be on his A game, that's for sure. Now let's head to the defense and talk about free safety Javon Hagan. He's a solid guy in this backfield. We've talked about a lot of safeties this year, and he may be one of the better ones. He can get to the quarterback. He's got 3 sacks on the season currently, and he's got 1 interception. And that's the stat line you don't want to see increase. We know how Tanner Patrick plays. We know how iffy he can be throwing the football. We know what bad things can happen with Patrick. They can't happen this week. If they happen this week, this team might not even get close to coming away with a W. And it might destroy their chances at another MAC title chance. But if they play clean football, they have a big chance. Let's talk about strong safety Kylan Nelson now. Now, this is a guy who's much more, in my opinion, of a ball hawk. He's not going to come down and try and sack the quarterback. He'll stay back, get his tackles, and try and pick that ball up when he gets an opportunity. He's got 1 interception on the season so far, but he has forced 1 fumble. So we're going to have to keep that in mind and hope that everybody hangs on to that football, which has been something, for the most part this season, that has not been an issue. The turnover issues have come from the interceptions from Tanner Patrick. We all know that. And it's going to be something we keep talking about until the end of the season and it's all over with. But you got to keep this in mind with Nelson. You can't allow him to come down and make a big hit on a guy that you don't trust with that football because it might pop out. This is going to be a tough game. It's a solid defense against a solid defense. That's the way I'm looking at it. The offenses can't make mistakes, where the defenses will win the football game for their offense. That's all the time we got for today, folks. You've been listening to the Howler here on the Sanford Sports Radio. I've been Jonathan West, and we will see you this weekend with some more Sanford College football. Hello, Sanford. You are listening to Sanford Sports Radio as we are back home, and it is time to hashtag defend the den as Sanford returns to Sanford City Stadium for another MAC conference game. They got a big victory in a very close game against NIU off of Jackson's stone field goal. The freshman kicks really his first big game winner. So now they come back home with a W under their belt, riding a 3-game winning streak. And they take on a tough Ohio defense. We're not going to sugarcoat this, folks. This is a tough team. And their record of 3-4 may surprise you. And you may look at me and say, well, you may listen to me and say, they're not a tough team. They don't have a great record. Trust me, they're a lot better than their record says. And we're going to see that here today, I'm sure. This team has to play smart. They've got to do their job right, and they can come away with another big victory and have a 4-game winning streak going into Week 11 in another big MAC conference play as we get underway here as Patrick Jackson will return this one, as it's going to be a big opportunity for Jackson here as he can't make one man miss, and that's going to be a return of about 18 yards. As the offense comes out, Tanner Patrick under center to start, and he'll go to Claude Fleming. And that's going to be a gain of nothing just back to the line as Kylan Nelson gets the first tackle. We talked plenty of him in the Howler earlier this week. As Patrick throwing, and that's intercepted. I said it enough in the Howler. This team can't make mistakes. That can't happen. It's an interception from the cornerback Fox, and if that happens again, this game might already be away. As the Bobcats take over on offense for the first time, it's a handoff to Poppy White, and he's able to avoid one man. I believe that was, yes indeed, Pat Riley. It's a 5-yard gain, and a solid one for Poppy White. 2nd and 5 as the no huddle begins for Ohio. Quentin Maxwell to throw. The pressure was coming in, but he's able to hit Kyle Baylock. That is a 14-yard reception and enough for the first down. This Ohio offense starting to fire on all cylinders here early. As 1st and 10, handoff goes to White. White around the edge. He runs right into Richard Cruz and he stuffs him. It's a gain of 4. He wasn't going anywhere after Cruz got his hands on him. But it makes a manageable 3rd and 6 as the no huddle continues here. 2nd and 6 option by Quentin Maxwell. He gets around the edge. Touchdown, Ohio. The Bobcats score first blood here after the Sanford interception. So Tanner Patrick and the offense back out there. That's Herb Fellows on a curl route. That's an 11-yard gain right at the sticks. Good job, Fellows, on that catch. He tried to make more happen, couldn't get it. As 1st and 10, it looks like Tyrone Jennings taking the handoff. It's a 2-yard gain from number 22, and that's going to be a, something to at least say we got something out of. As they now go to the play action, as Patrick rolling out, he decides not to throw to 2 open receivers and taking himself a gain of 6. It's a manageable 3rd and 2 now coming up. 3rd and 2 in the pistol. What do you do here? It looks like Sanford goes option, and Patrick's got to fight. He gets it. That is a 3-yard gain, just enough for the first down. Out of the full house package, it's Antoine Bradford on the carry. It's only a gain of 3 for the fullback. I think defenses are starting to really sniff into Antoine Bradford. They're starting to really check that play out more. As 2nd and 7, it's a screen that goes nowhere but back. Tyrone Jennings going to lose 4 on that reception. They wanted to utilize Jennings there on the outside edge to try and maybe get it back with more maneuverability. But that didn't work out. They sniffed it out immediately. As 3rd and 12, Tanner Patrick looks to throw deep. And that's Patrick Jackson, who was his intended target, but way overthrown. So a bad drive there for Sanford, as they had to punt it back to the Bobcats, and Pappy White's going to make him pay. Luckily, Jason Turner was there, though, as that's going to be a gain of nothing. Dropped at the line was White. 2nd and 10 here as a flag comes flying in. I'm thinking somebody moved on the line. Indeed, they did. It's going to be a false start penalty on Ohio. That'll move them back 5 yards. 2nd and 5 now, 2nd and 15. After the false start penalty, Quentin Maxwell takes the snap out of shotgun, and he runs right into Elliott Flowers. That's a big sack for the senior defensive tackle. As Flowers just really at the right place at the right time. He's able to get a hand on Maxwell and bring him down. 3rd and 18 here as the crowd going crazy here in the den as Maxwell throws it up. It's intercepted! Flash Gibson! That's exactly what this team needed. What a momentum boost here as Gibson able to get another pick on the season. This kid is a ball hawk. I don't even know if you can call him that. Maybe a magnet. As it's 1st and 10 now for the Sanford offense. That's a tight window, but Rob Thomas pulls that one in. An 18-yard reception. There was not a lot of room to throw that football into. And somehow Tanner Patrick gets that to Thomas. That's impressive right there. There's an 18-yard gain as they go the full house. Nobody open. And that was just Patrick trying to make something happen. Not the smartest choice of play there. Shouldn't have really thrown. Should have just thrown it away, if anything. As 2nd and 10, handoff goes to Claude Fleming, and he'll only gain 2 yards on that run. Tried to go right up the gut. Got caught quickly. As 3rd and 8, they go play action out of the shotgun, and Patrick is dropped quickly. It's a sack by Marcus Brunson, the outside linebacker. And that is a big loss there. They had an opportunity. There were some open targets, just Tanner Patrick couldn't get it off in time. So they're going to have to settle for a Jackson Stone field goal as the kick is up and good. And that will put 3 points on the board. 7-3 as Sammy Carter boots this one away. Poppy White, the man to return here. He's got some blocks in front of him and goes over one man. Believe that was Otis Griffin. And now the chase is on. Gibson can catch him. 5 touchdown White. I don't know what to say. It's a kickoff return of 102 yards for Poppy White, breaking Lewis McMahon's record. Sanford's own Lewis McMahon's record has been broken by Poppy White. So back to Sanford's offense as they were just off the field. Now back on as a near interception there. Maxwell howled over the football there. Surprised he didn't come up with it. Poor throw by Patrick. As 2nd and 10, down goes Fleming. A loss of 1 on that one. That's Brunson again. He's been a monster early here. He has been all over the field and has eyes on whoever has the football. As the final play of the first quarter, it's a nice play to Rob Thomas here. And there's a flag thrown in here late, and it looks like right at the spot. And it's going to be a face mask call on Ohio. That's an extra 15. Sanford will take that as the first quarter comes to an end. It's 14-3, but hey, Sanford's got it at the 37 of Ohio. When we come back for the second quarter of play, you're listening to the Sanford Sports Radio. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sanford Sports Radio. I am Jonathan West. It's 14-3 as Tyrone Jennings gets the handoff on first down here. It is a 3-yard run. That'll set up 2nd and 7. 2nd and 7 in the pistol as they're looking option indeed. And it looked like for a second Ohio was going to sniff that out immediately. Did not happen. It's a 7-yard first down run by number 7, Tanner Patrick. As Patrick to throw here on 1st and 10. I believe he overthrew Rob Thomas. Fellows trying to make an athletic catch. Not going to happen. 2nd and 10. It's a handoff up the gut for Fleming on the draw. It only gains 2. The Sanford offense having a tough time gaining any yards right now. As 3rd and 8 out of the shotgun. Patrick to throw. He's setting up the screen. And Fleming's got a little bit of room, but not enough as he's only going to gain 6. That's going to mean the offense is still out on the field. I thought they would settle as Patrick takes off on the option. That is enough for the first. A 6-yard gain as Coach Wolf decided to risk it. Look at that. It's 1st and 10 now. Patrick to throw, rolling out to his right. He throws on the run. Connects with Rob Thomas. 14-yard touchdown. Sanford has just closed this gap. It's now, pending the extra point, a 4-point ball game. This is extremely interesting now. It's a nice throw on the run from Tanner Patrick. That's a sharp throw to Rob Thomas. As 1st and 10, it's a screen for Kyle Baylock as Ohio's back on offense. But Flash Gibson not going to allow anyone to out-trick him as a great play on the football there. 2nd and 11 now for Ohio as White gets the handoff and he runs over one defender but gains 7. That's going to be a solid game, making it a manageable 3rd and 4. No huddle continues as Maxwell takes the snap. He's going to throw it up and open. I believe that was Baylock again. Indeed, it was a 19-yard reception. 1st down Ohio as they quicken their pace to the line here. They're around in midfield. Shotgun formation as the handoff goes to Poppy White and he is brought down quick. Dylan Trevor was the first man to get a hand on him. It'll be a gain of 1 as the no huddle begins again. 2nd and 9 now. Pistol formation. Maxwell to throw. He connects with Brown this time. That's the tight end, Connor Brown. 16-yard gain and enough for another Bobcat first down. 1st and 10 shotgun formation as no huddle continues to be the calling card for Ohio today. As that's intercepted, Richard Cruz! I didn't even see him in coverage. I can't believe it. What a play by the senior. 5th interception of the season. The senior is having a phenomenal year. It's 1st and 10 now for Sanford's offense as Richard Cruz gets him the ball back. And what a play! That's Herb Fellows. Keeps 1 foot in bounds. 19-yard reception there. It's as close as it gets to being in or out of bounds. But he had 1 toe in bounds there. As it's 1st and 10 after the big 19-yard gain, they hand off to Fleming. And this ground game's having a tough time. It's a 2-yard gain for Claude as they had the edge set. 2nd and 8. Handoff goes to Tyrone Jennings. He's got room up the middle this time. And it's a solid gain of 5. That's been arguably one of the best runs of the day. As it's 3rd and 3 upcoming. Single back formation. They go play action. As Patrick rolling. Looking to throw. Throws and connects with Tremaine Dingle. What a catch by Tremaine Dingle, the junior, with a hell of a 13-yard reception. It's 1st and 10 is Patrick to throw again. He's going deep. That's Harrison Frazier, but he can't hang on. It's a drop, and that's going to lead to 2nd and 10. Offset I formation as Patrick hands off to Tyrone Jennings. And Jennings up the gut for another nice gain. Gain of 7 this time. It'll be another manageable 3rd down at 3rd and 3. A minute and a half remains here in the half as Fleming to the end zone. Touchdown Sanford. But wait a minute. Wait a minute. There is a flag. And it's going to be coming back. It's a clipping penalty on Tyrone McIntyre, the left tackle. That can't happen. You cannot do that to your running back. And Coach Wolf, I can see him on the sidelines arguing. It's now 3rd and 9 because of the clipping. But there's a nice catch, Herb Fellows, 18 yards. And it looked like the defender had his head turned away from Fellows in the football, which is a great time to throw from Patrick. Great play there. They're inside the red zone now as it's 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Fleming. He wants that touchdown back as that's a 9-yard gain from the sophomore running back. 2nd and 1, just over 30 seconds remain as Fleming to the outside on the toss. Into the end zone, he got his touchdown. Touchdown, Claude Fleming. 4-yard touchdown run as Sanford takes their first lead of the ball game. It's 17-14 as look at this. Less than 30 seconds and a false start for Ohio. As this half has been fun to watch so far. We'll see what the Bobcats can do with 30 seconds left on the clock. 1st and 15 as a deep ball which goes out of bounds quickly. I think Maxwell thought he'd have more time, just throws it away after he saw some quick pressure. 2nd and 15 now as Quentin Maxwell takes off here, it looks like. Indeed he will as he slides down to save himself after a gain of 12. 20 seconds remain here, 3rd and 3 as Maxwell looks to throw. And that nearly was intercepted and Gibson had the speed to take it back. That should have been a pick 6, folks. Nonetheless, it's Sanford football with 8 seconds left. And they're going to go for it. It's throwing deep to Costello. Look at that. You know what? I hate to say it, but I think they're already in Jackson Stone field goal range on that play. And indeed, they'll test it. A 49-yarder. What a kick. A 49-yard field goal for Jackson Stone to take us to the end of the half. That's a career long as it's 20-14, Sanford on top here at halftime. You're listening to Sanford Sports Radio. Welcome to the second half of play, folks, here on the Sanford Sports Radio. It is 2014, Sanford on top. I'm Jonathan West, and Quentin Maxwell taking off for a big run. That's a 29-yard run as he just passed midfield. 1st and 10 right in Coyotes territory as it is shotgun formation. They'll go option again. Maxwell just going to run it some more, and that worked out in the best for Ohio a second time. Another big first down by Maxwell. 1st and 10 still in the shotgun are the Bobcats as they get the play from the sideline here. Taking the snaps, Maxwell, and this time it's Poppy White taking the handoff. He's brought down. Pat Riley on the tackle. It'll be a gain of 7. 2nd and 3 as the no-huddle continues here. Pistol formation as they get the play. As Maxwell goes play action, he throws quick. Odom can't hang on, and that's nearly intercepted. Gibson almost had another pick there. 3rd and 3 here, pistol formation. Handoff goes to Malik Irons, and that's going to be a 2-yard gain short of the marker. They're going to have to kick a field goal. Oh, wait a minute, folks. They were about to kick, but there's a false start. That's going to move them back 5 yards. Now they've got a decision to make. It's a long field goal, and it looks like the offense is coming out now as Maxwell in the shotgun to throw, connects with Odom, but his momentum took him out of bounds. It's only a 3-yard gain. That's a turnover on downs. Sanford now back to work on offense as Claude Fleming takes the handoff. That's going to be a 4-yard gain for the sophomore back as they are having a good day here today now. They found something that works and they got to keep riding as Patrick throws deep, and that's just batted away. As that was very nice coverage from Ohio on Duron Costello. As 3rd and 6, Patrick looks to throw to the curl. It's batted away. That's Maxwell Howell on that one. Rob Thomas was the intended target as it goes back to Ohio on the punt. Poppy White takes a big shot on his next carry. That's Trey McLaughlin, the leader of this defense. The huge hit on White for a loss of 1. They're showing a replay here in the stadium, and man, that thing looked gruesome. 2nd and 11 as Maxwell to throw. He connects with Brown as tight end, and he barrels over Pat Riley. Connor Brown with a 15-yard reception and a big first down. 1st and 10 now here as Ohio in the shotgun. They get the play from the sideline, and it's going to be an option. Maxwell, though, brought down quick. That's Flash Gibson on the tackle, as that's great coverage by Gibson. 2nd and 11 now. Still going with the no-huddle offense are the Bobcats as Maxwell sets up a screen. The screen seems to work out with some blocks, but that's going to be an 8-yard gain for Poppy White. It'll be a manageable 3rd and 3 once again. No huddle continues. Play coming in from the sideline in the pistol. As White was given the handoff, and Bryant was there immediately. I have never seen someone get there that quick. As this has been a hell of a ball game so far, folks. 1st and 10 here for Sanford as they get the football back. Claude Fleming with the handoff, and he jukes a man out of his shoes there. Nice move by Fleming as that's a nice 13-yard gain. Best run of the day so far by any back on the Sanford side. 1st and 10 here. Under center is Patrick. He'll hand back off to Fleming, and that looked like Brunson brought him down from the face mask as the late flag flies. As that will be a face mask call. An extra 15 coming up for Sanford as Brunson got a little over-aggressive there. 1st and 10. They're going with the end around to Dingle. And Dingle's found some room around the edge. That's a first down and more. A 17-yard gain. What a play by Jermaine Dingle. We hadn't heard his name much today, but there's a big one there. As 1st and 10. Patrick to throw, goes deep. He wanted Costello. He loves that tight end seam route. It didn't work out as he overthrew his intended target. 2nd and 10 now as Patrick. Man in motion is Antoine Bradford, the fullback, and they're going to play action. Patrick just gets it away as he takes a shot from Adrell Taylor. 3rd and 10 now. Patrick hands off to Tyrone Jennings on 3rd down. Looks like they're just going to settle here maybe for a stone field goal. And no, the offense still out there on 4th and 9. They're going with the option. There's room. Patrick 1st down and more. Wow, what a situation there. As 1st and 10 following the 13-yard 1st down run from Patrick. He throws on the run, connects with Tyrone Jennings, and that's going to be a 13-yard reception and a 1st down. It wasn't the best throw we've seen him make on the run, but it was solid enough to give him a big 1st down. It's Patrick rolling out here. He's going to take off on his own. No, tried to throw it away, but couldn't get off in time. Maybe that was a good thing, as I believe he stepped past the line of scrimmage. 2nd and goal now. Handoff goes to Fleming as he is stopped. Had some room up the gut, but gets caught quickly. A gain of 4 there for Fleming. 3rd and goal now from the 5 as they go play action. Patrick to throw. It's Brunson. Interception for Ohio, and he's taking it down the sideline. Is anyone going to catch him? Those the question. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Ohio. The Bobcats take it back. They take the lead back, or at least tie it up, pending the extra point. On a 94-yard interception return by Brunson. This is the last thing this team needed. Brunson's been playing out of his mind well today, but this is just absurd. 46 seconds remain here in the 3rd quarter. And it's an extremely tight ball game, folks. As the kick here is off, Patrick Jackson back to return after that interception return for a touchdown. Jackson's got room up past the 40, down and around the 42. A great return there for Patrick Jackson. That puts them in good starting field position. 41 seconds left on the clock as Tyrone Jennings gets the handoff. That's going to be a gain of nothing back to the line. Only till the end of the 3rd quarter, not the end of the ball game. As this should be the last play of the 3rd quarter. That is a gain of 3 for Claude Fleming off the handoff. And that will take us to the end of the 3rd, as it is a tight one, 21-20, Ohio on top, thanks to the pick 6. And it's going to be fun to watch this last quarter. Your 4th quarter comes up just after this here on the Sanford Sports Radio. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sanford Sports Radio. It is time for the 4th quarter to begin, but it looks like it's not going to begin well for Sanford, as a delay of game penalty on Tanner Patrick is going to move them back 5 yards here. 3rd and 11 and a 5-wide set. Patrick looks to throw, and he wanted Costello. It gets batted away as a hand was in there, and that is going to bring up a punt. 1st and 10 here for Ohio. The ball back in their possession. As Maxwell takes the option, and he avoids Dustin Jordan. That's a big run past midfield, up past the 40, down and around the 35-yard line. Over 100 yards on the day for Quentin Maxwell. This is insane, folks, as 1st and 10 following some no huddle. Maxwell with the option again. This time he gets brought down. Believe that was, yes, Jason Turner, the man who brought him down. The senior safety not going to allow another big play. As 2nd and 10, handoff goes to Poppy White. And he gets brought down after a gain of 4 right up the gut. It's going to be 3rd and 6. This is a good opportunity for the defense to maybe get a big play here. There's a penalty flying in. Some movement on the offensive line for Ohio. Moving back 5 yards, folks. That's 3rd and 11 now. 3rd and 11 in a 5-wide set. That's what we're looking at here is Maxwell to throw. He finds an open man near the sideline. That's Andrew Meyer, 16-yard reception. Enough for a first as Ohio takes a big lead here. Or I'm sorry, puts themselves in a good shot for the red zone. No lead to be taken as they already have a 1-point lead right now. 1st and 10 out of the pistol. Handoff goes to Holmes, who's in because of the no huddle at running back, as that's a 7-yard gain. Holmes looks like he's still going to be the running back in as they continue the no huddle. 2nd and 3 here. They give it back to Holmes, and he is caught quickly. Jason Turner once again. A loss of 3 for the receiver playing running back. This is what happens when you don't make those changes, when you want to just go quick with no huddle. Stuff like that happens as the 5-wide set is back out. Maxwell takes the snap. Looks to throw. He connects with Holmes as a receiver this time at the 15-yard reception down at the 1. 1st and goal from the 1. Holmes is in it. Holmes is in at the running back position here because of this no huddle. And he's going to get the handoff into the end zone. A touchdown for Albert Holmes on the ground as Ohio takes a big lead. Sanford with the football back on offense. There's a nice throw to Deron Costello by Patrick. 13-yard gain and enough for the first. It's a one-score ball game, but needing a 2-point conversion. What Sanford would need is Fleming can't go anywhere on the 1st down carry. It's only going to be a gain of 1. 2nd and 9. Patrick under center. He's going to hand back off to Fleming, and Fleming found some room this time. A gain of around 6 or 7. They're going to call it 3rd and 3 here as Patrick takes the snap. He's rolling out. Throwing on the run down at the feet of, I believe, Robert Thomas. That will fall incomplete, and it will be punted back to Ohio. As 1st and 10 for the Bobcats, it is a run for Pappy White. He gets a nice block, ran into his blocker, though. It's a 7-yard gain. As the no huddle continues here for Ohio, 2nd and 3 here in the pistol. They go option for Maxwell. You've got to be kidding me. And he's got plenty of room in front of him. Pat Riley finally brings him down. Another big run. This one's 30 yards. Maxwell has been dominant when he's on the ground. 1st and 10, 3:50 left to go in this ball game. Man in motion is Malik Irons. As the handoff goes to Pappy White, and he is brought down. Dustin Jordan finished it. James Bryant started the tackle. It's a gain of 6. 2nd and 4 here as the no huddle continues here, getting a play from the sideline. Handoff goes to White. He is dropped quickly. Flash Gibson right where he needed to be. That'll be a loss of 1 for Pappy White on this one. 3rd and 5 here, folks. 3rd and 5 as Quentin Maxwell looks to throw. And there comes Deshaun Hollis. He loses the football. Recovered by McLaughlin. What a break. Nobody decided to block Deshaun Hollis. I don't know what you're thinking there, Ohio. But nobody blocks Hollis, the sophomore. And in comes the senior to pick up the loose ball. 1st and 10, an option here for Patrick. He's got room to run. He's turning into Maxwell for a second. A big 33-yard run from Tanner Patrick. That's exactly what this offense needed. Things might now be looking the way of the blue and silver of the Coyotes as the crowd is on fire here in the den. Patrick hands off to Fleming, but he took a big shot. That's a loss of 3 as that was Kylan Nelson that came down. He's had a busy day, 10 tackles. 2nd and 13 as shotgun formation for Patrick. Looks to throw, going deep. That's Fellows in the end zone. Touchdown, Sanford. What a catch! That's just the money play. We know they love that mesh pattern. They go to it here, and it works out. Fellows in the back, well, towards the side of the end zone. Beautiful play. They have to go for two as they pitch out to Fleming, and that's a 2-point conversion, folks. It's all tied up, 28 apiece. This is insane. With less than 2 minutes, this ball will go back to Ohio. 1st and 10 with 1:58 left. Maxwell to throw. It's tipped by McLaughlin, nearly intercepted on the deflection by Jason Turner. The seniors working together. 2nd and 10. Snap taken by Maxwell. Pressure came in and he lost the football, but recovered by Ohio, I believe. I'm not exactly sure who came in. It looked like it might have been Townsend. No, it was Flash Gibson. They're showing the replay. Gibson came in and forced that fumble. Great sack by Flash Gibson on the corner rush. As 3rd and 18, a minute and a half remains. Maxwell to throw. He was moving around a lot as he connects with Odom. A 9-yard gain. It's going to be 4th and 9, and you'd think they'd go for it, right? No, they punt it back away. It's Sanford football, and they're just going to run it now. Handoff goes to Fleming for a gain of 7 up the gut. They're nearly in field goal range for the freshman. The ice-cold Jackson Stone, as that is a 27-yard reception to Ron Costello off play action. That right there, my friends, is the ball game. A Stone field goal is all that is needed. As 1st and 10, they are definitely within the range of Jackson Stone. Handoff goes to Jennings up the gut. A great run by Tyrone Jennings for the first and centers the football. 10 seconds. Stone out there to kick. They iced him. The kick is up. And he's as cold as ice with that. That is a big, big game winner for Jackson Stone. That's 2 in a row for this young man. The freshman has now kicked 2 game-winning field goals back-to-back, 1 on the road and 1 at home. Jackson Stone, you just made a huge name for yourself here at Sanford in your freshman year. But what a win. Your player of the game, obviously, Flash Gibson, who was all over the field today. A great day for Gibson. But what a game. What a game. What a comeback from this team. They showed a lot of heart. And Tanner Patrick, after throwing that first pick, I was extremely terrified. I think you folks listening at home could tell by the tone of my voice. I was not expecting much to come after that first pick. But he played well. Not extremely well. A lot of things need to be cleaned up. But he played well enough to lead this team down the field. And when it mattered, they made the big plays. Of course, the pick 6, a scary situation. But this defense came through for the offense, and the offense able to thank them by putting points on the board. When they needed to make something happen, it happened. That is the key contributor to this win here this week. Another huge MAC victory. Once again, your final from Sanford. 31-28. Sanford is victorious. I've been Jonathan West. This has been Sanford Sports Radio, and we will see you folks next week.